haven't looked at it in, God, probably 3 months. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Cass. I am an op shop addict and a part-time reseller based in Australia. This week I've got something a little bit different for you. I am a very small business and I thought I'd give you a peek behind the curtain of just how small my business is. I am taking you through my reselling room, the one room in my house that I operate my entire reselling business from, and also mostly work from home from as well in my full-time employment. So sit tight, let's get started, and here's my reselling room. I'm going to start with this wall here. So if you haven't seen in any of my other videos, often in the background, this is all of my inventory storage. I say all of my inventory storage. I do have a small number of delicate and bulky items stored in a wardrobe in our spare room, but this is the majority of the stock that's listed in my eBay and Poshmark stores. So at the moment I have about 1.6 cubic meters of storage space here. My goal is to continue sort of this row of tubs up here, and that will be the limit of my store. So it's really about making sure that I'm turning over items. You can see on top of my tubs at the moment some loose shoes. I only have 2 tubs for shoes in here at the moment, so that's another issue that I will need to address. And the good thing about these as well is if I come behind here, you can see I have a couple of pieces of white core flute. This is just like signboard or poster board is another name for it, and that actually forms part of my photography setup. Speaking of my photography setup, one of the reasons that I claimed this particular room in our house as my office was this magnificent window. You can see it runs all the way from the floor very nearly to the ceiling, and it is just a fantastic source of natural light. So my mannequin, who normally lives over here as a bit of decoration, when I'm taking photos, she shuffles all the way to this plain back wall. You can see we have a very neutral grey paint in our home. So this forms my photography space. That with the overhead light I find is really sufficient for photos, and that core flute just helps to brighten everything up. We get rid of this dark grey carpet down the bottom here to reflect some more light. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is the setup that I use to take pretty much all of my photos now. I only do flat lays for items that really just don't look right on the mannequin. She's a size 6, so sometimes when you get into larger sizes, they don't really hang right. It's hard to secure them, like to peg them to make them look good. So I might use flat lays just again on the core flute in those instances. But you can see generally it is quite late in the day, there's some shadows about, but generally I can get a nice clear shot just from my mannequin, the window, and that white bright reflective surface. The other way I use this core flute in my photo setup is for shoes. Again, a bit shadowy because of the time of day. But I'll post what those photos look like. I take everything in a 1-to-1 ratio so that it's compatible with eBay and Poshmark. Anything I can do in my business to make it easy for myself, you know I'm doing. Onto the other wall now, and you can see there is quite a lot happening here. So Starting in this corner, as I've said, this is where my mannequin normally lives. As a bit of decoration. I do like to keep her clothed, usually with something bright and colourful that I've thrifted recently. So today we've got this pretty Lorraine dress. I also have a few personal items. So this little bulb down here, if you can see, is actually my nan's matchbook collection from traveling when she was younger. So that's something that I used to play with in my childhood. It was quite sentimental for me. So when she passed, that's the one thing of hers that I kept. My latest edition, unfortunately not thrifted. I should not be allowed in Kmart. I try very, very hard never to go in there because I have momentary lapses of self-control. These are no exception, dinosaur string lights. The rest of my dinosaurs, you'll see there are a few to spot in my office, are either thrifted or gifted. So I suppose some points there for myself. You can see I've got some open storage here. This is quite recent. I beautified my office a bit. So I've got my thank you cards, my little moss ball, and then my business planner, my small satchels. These are the Hero Packaging compostable satchels. My excess stock of postcards, some wipes, some tissues, and then my little acrylic shoe things, and my remaining Australia Post satchels that I'm trying to get through so I can also move my larger satchels to the home compostable Hero mailers. Now my desk space needs to be practical because in my employment, I also primarily work from home. So I've set this up in a way that works for me both professionally with my full-time job and also with my reselling business. The key for me is having large dual monitors with a super cute keyboard, number pad and mouse. Can't be all bleak and black. But this is a great setup. I find it just super easy for everything that I need to do, both at work and in my business. As well as my dual monitor setup, I always have my laptop set up beside me on my desk, whether I am working, during my normal 9 to 5, or working on my business on the desktop computer. And as you can see here, that is so my little bot can do his job, and a lot of the Poshmark automation that I have set up. If my laptop's not turned on and I don't have a Chrome browser open, he can't do his thing. Of making things in my business as easy for myself as possible, I also have a measuring tape, quite a long one, 60 inches, 1.5 meters. I measure everything in inches. It's just an old habit with clothing. Taped to my desk to make things easy. So this really speeds up my time taking measurements. All I need to do is kind of grab things, lay them flat on the desk, and enter that in my spreadsheet. I've also got my postage scale. If you've watched my Hero unboxing, you would have seen me get this. But I have a recent addition that I'm very excited about that has just made my shipping process so much easier. And that is my little pink Hero printer and the compostable Hero labels. So that has really saved me some time with shipping. I print them directly from my phone. It's a lot more quick than what I was doing previously, which was just using A4 paper and having to chop all of my labels up. I've also got this shelf, which is a recent addition. So this is thrifted. You may have seen this in one of my reels on Instagram. These were bought at an antique market. Dinosaurs, as I've mentioned, are thrifted. And I want to get a plant to pop up here. This is a recycled planter that I've had around the house for a while that its previous occupant outgrew. And then under my desk, I've also tried to make practical for myself as well. I have 2 additional tubs. This is for incoming stock. So the bottom is again full of shoes that I need to put behind me in my inventory. The top is one of my recent thrift hauls that has been processed. So that has been measured, listed, photographed. That's just ready to go away and waiting for me to have some time. And then I also have my wonderful roll of hex wrap under my desk as well. So that one, I don't have a stand. I find I don't need one if I keep it vertically. I just kind of unravel the roll, snip it down with scissors, and that's it. She's good to go. And the final piece of the puzzle in my reselling home office is this little rack here. So similar to the tubs under my desk, this is my incoming stock. This is recently thrifted. This stuff has been photographed, but I haven't measured or listed any of this yet, which is why it's still hanging here in waiting. And you can see got some shoes down here as well. This is actually the haul from my Gatton Op Shops video, if you've watched that one. If not, I'll link it here for you. And then lastly, I have this tub down here. Again, the intent of this tub was incoming stock, fresh stuff. But I'll be honest, it's become a bit of a junk box and I probably should go through it. I don't know what is in there. I haven't looked at it in probably 3 months. So there might even be some stuff in there that's just wasting time and not making me any money that I need to get listing. So there you go. That is it. That is my one room and a cupboard elsewhere in my house that I operate my reselling business from. What do you think? Is it similar to your setup? Do you do things differently? Do you have more room than I do? That's the one thing that I think is probably the limiting factor in my business. But for me, I just want it to be a pleasant place to work, considering I spend so much time in here every day. But there you go. If you love seeing videos like this, if you like watching reselling content, then make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I drop a new video every Tuesday. But for now, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.